17 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia on Saturday morning. And that's not the wind chill. That's the actual temperature while it's snowing. Hard. Are your water pipes wrapped right now? Because what's coming this weekend isn't your typical southern dusting. Over 40 million people across the Southeast are about to see snow accumulations that haven't happened in a decade. For many areas, and it's all unfolding in temperatures cold enough to create serious infrastructure problems. In exactly 90 seconds, I'm going to tell you the precise timing for when snow arrives in Charlotte, Columbia, and Raleigh, and why Saturday afternoon is when this storm goes from manageable to potentially dangerous. But first, I need to know where you are. Drop your exact city in the comments right now. Not just your state, your city. I'm recording a detailed neighborhood-by-neighborhood breakdown tonight for tomorrow's video, and your comment determines whether I cover your area. All right, let's get specific right away. Charlotte, snow begins Friday evening around 8 p.m. Light at first, but by Saturday morning at 6 a.m., you're looking at moderate to heavy snow with temperatures around 21 degrees. Columbia, you're about 2 hours behind Charlotte. Snow starts around 10 p.m. Friday night, picks up intensity Saturday morning around 8 a.m. Temperatures hovering near 23. Raleigh, you're in between. Snow begins around 9 p.m. Friday, becomes heavy Saturday morning by 7 a.m. And here's what makes your situation particularly interesting. You might see some of the highest snowfall rates Saturday afternoon, possibly 1 to 2 inches per hour, with temperatures stuck at 19 degrees. Atlanta, you're on the western fringe of this. Light snow possible Saturday morning, but you're more likely dealing with extreme cold. Saturday morning low around 17, which is infrastructure threatening for your area. Now here's what makes this storm different from the typical southern snow event that melts by noon. We're not dealing with temperatures hovering right at freezing, where you get that wet, heavy snow that's gone in hours. This is happening in Arctic air, the kind of cold that locks in and stays. When snow falls Saturday morning across the Carolinas, temperatures will be in the low 20s at best, upper teens in many spots. That snow isn't melting, it's sticking, it's accumulating, and it's staying there through Sunday, possibly into Monday in some areas. Let me walk you through the two completely different scenarios the models are showing, because understanding this disagreement is critical to knowing what you should prepare for. The GFS model, that's the American model, has been absolutely relentless for the past 48 hours, showing a major event. And when I say major, I'm talking about snowfall totals that would be top 5 all-time for cities like Columbia and Charlotte. It's showing 12 to 18 inches across much of central North Carolina and northern South Carolina. It's developing a coastal low-pressure system that bombs out to 970 millibars, which would create blizzard conditions along the coast. Wind gusts Saturday night exceeding 60 miles per hour, the kind of scenario that shuts down entire states. The European model, which historically has better accuracy with coastal storms, is more conservative but still significant. It's showing 6 to 12 inches for the same areas, keeps the heaviest snow a bit farther north, and doesn't develop the coastal system quite as intensely. It's still a major snow event in this scenario, just not the historic one the GFS suggests. Both models agree on one thing, though. This is real. Snow is coming. Cold is coming. The question is magnitude. Here's what I'm watching over the next 12 to 18 hours that'll tell us which scenario we're trending toward. First, the exact track of the upper-level energy that's currently over the Rockies. Right now it's diving southeast, which is what creates the snow. If it digs even 50 miles farther south as it moves across the country, that favors heavier snow farther south and west. If it stays on its current track, the European solution becomes more likely. Second, the position of the Arctic high pressure over the Great Lakes Friday night. That high is what's supplying the brutal cold, but it's also steering the storm system. If that high is centered over Wisconsin versus over Michigan, completely different storm track. The Canadian model, by the way, is somewhere in the middle of these two. It's showing 8 to 14 inches for much of the impact zone, which honestly feels about right to me at this point. But check back with me tomorrow afternoon because we're going to have 3 new model runs by then, and the consistency or lack of it will tell us a lot. Let me take you through this timeline step by step because timing matters almost as much as snowfall amounts. Thursday, tomorrow, is your preparation day. This is non-negotiable. Whatever you need to do to get ready, it happens Thursday. Grocery stores are going to be packed Thursday afternoon and evening as people wake up to how serious this is. Thursday night stays dry, but temperatures start dropping. Lows Thursday night fall into the 20s across most of the southeast. Teens across the mountains. Friday during the day, still dry for almost everyone. This is your last full day of normal conditions. Temperatures Friday struggle to get out of the 30s for most areas, staying in the 20s in the mountains. But Friday evening is when everything changes. Around 6 to 8 p.m. Friday, the first flakes begin falling across northeast Georgia, far western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee. This is light snow initially, might even mix with some sleet briefly in a few spots. But by Friday midnight, it's all snow and it's spreading east. Friday night into early Saturday morning is when most areas wake up to their first accumulations. And this is where the cold becomes a huge factor. Overnight lows Friday night range from 15 to 23 degrees across the impact zone. That's cold enough that any snow falling is fluffy, dry, and sticking to everything. Roads, trees, power lines. No melting happening at these temperatures. By Saturday morning at 6 a.m., snow is falling across a wide area from northeast Georgia through both Carolinas and into southern Virginia. Some areas already have 2 to 4 inches on the ground. Saturday daytime is when this storm really cranks up, and I need you to understand something about Saturday afternoon specifically. If the storm intensifies the way some models show, Saturday afternoon could be dangerous. Not just inconvenient, dangerous. Snow rates Saturday afternoon could hit 1 to 2 inches per hour across central North Carolina and northern South Carolina. Visibility drops to near zero during the heaviest bands. Winds pick up to 30 to 40 miles per hour, creating blowing and drifting snow. Any travel Saturday afternoon is strongly discouraged. Actually, let me be more direct. Don't travel Saturday afternoon if you're in the heavy snow zone. Period. Saturday evening into Saturday night, the coastal component of this storm becomes the big question mark. This is where that low-pressure system potentially develops off the Carolina coast and rapidly intensifies. If this happens, and it's looking more likely with each model run, Saturday night brings even heavier snow to eastern North Carolina, wind gusts along the coast that could exceed 50 miles per hour, and snowfall rates that continue into Sunday morning. If this doesn't happen, the snow winds down Saturday evening and we're done by midnight. Sunday morning, regardless of which scenario plays out, is brutally cold across the entire southeast. We're talking about some of the coldest temperatures in years. Charleston, low, around 18. Savannah, low around 22. Columbia, low around 14. Charlotte, low around 11. Raleigh, low around 13. Atlanta, low around 17. These temperatures combined with fresh snow on the ground create significant concerns about frozen pipes, power outages if you do lose electricity, and dangerous conditions for anyone who absolutely must be outside. Let me cover specific cities and regions in detail now, and I'm going to vary how I present this because I don't want you tuning out. Asheville and the North Carolina mountains, you're getting in on this early. Snow begins Friday evening around 6 p.m., continues through Saturday afternoon. Total accumulation 6 to 12 inches in the valleys, 10 to 16 inches at higher elevations above 3,000 feet. Temperatures Saturday only reach the mid-20s, meaning nothing melts. Sunday morning low around 8 degrees. Greenville, Spartanburg. You're right in the bullseye of most models. Snow begins Friday around 9 p.m., light at first. Saturday morning by 7 a.m. it's moderate to heavy. Rates of 1 inch per hour possible Saturday morning through early afternoon. Total accumulations 8 to 14 inches most likely. Could be higher if we trend toward the GFS solution. Temperatures Saturday top out around 24 degrees. No melting. Roads will be impassable in many areas Saturday. How about you in Columbia? This could be a historic snow for you. Snow begins Friday night around 10 p.m. By Saturday morning, you're in the thick of it. Heavy snow Saturday morning through afternoon. Snowfall rates could hit 1 to 2 inches per hour between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Saturday. Total accumulations currently projected 8 to 16 inches depending on which model verifies. Temperatures Saturday only reach 23 degrees. Sunday morning drops to 14. If you're in the Midlands, this is serious. Plan accordingly. Charlotte metro area, including Concord, Gastonia, Rock Hill, you're all seeing similar impacts. Snow Friday evening around 8 p.m. starts your event. Saturday morning, heavy snow develops. The heaviest snow Saturday between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Total accumulations 10 to 16 inches currently projected, with localized amounts potentially higher. Temperatures Saturday peak around 21 degrees. This would be your biggest snow in over a decade if the higher amounts verify. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. You've got a slightly different setup. Snow begins Friday night around 9 p.m. Moderate snow Saturday morning. But here's where it gets interesting. Saturday afternoon, you might see some of the highest snowfall rates anywhere in this event. There's some model indication of very heavy banding setting up over the triangle Saturday afternoon. If that happens, you're looking at potential whiteout conditions for several hours. Total accumulations 10 to 18 inches possible. Temperatures Saturday around 19 degrees. Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High Point. You're in a transition zone. Snow begins Friday evening around 7 or 8 p.m. Saturday sees moderate to heavy snow, but you're on the northern edge of the heaviest stuff. Total accumulations 6 to 12 inches most likely, with the higher amounts if the GFS solution verifies. Temperatures Saturday around 22 degrees. Fayetteville, you're on the eastern side of this. Snow begins Friday night around 10 or 11 p.m. Saturday morning brings moderate snow, but Saturday afternoon is when you need to be watching closely. If that coastal low develops, you could see snowfall rates increase significantly Saturday afternoon and evening. Total accumulations 8 to 14 inches, potentially more if the coastal enhancement is strong. Temperatures Saturday low 20s. Wilmington and the North Carolina coast, your forecast has the most uncertainty. If the coastal low develops close enough, Saturday afternoon into Saturday night could bring heavy snow and high winds, potential for 10 to 16 inches with wind gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour. If the low develops farther offshore, maybe only 4 to 8 inches. This is the area where tomorrow's model runs matter most. Let me shift to South Carolina coastal areas. Charleston, this is unusual for you. Snow is possible Saturday morning through afternoon. Amounts are tough to pin down because you're so far south and on the coast, but 2 to 6 inches looks reasonable right now. The bigger story is the cold. Sunday morning low around 18 degrees. That's dangerous for your infrastructure. Myrtle Beach, similar situation. Snow likely Saturday with accumulations of 4 to 8 inches possible. Could be more with coastal development. Georgia, let me address you quickly. Atlanta, you're on the western fringe. Light snow possible Saturday morning, maybe an inch or two accumulation. The real story is the cold. Saturday morning, low 17 degrees. Possibly colder in northern suburbs. Protect pipes. Athens, better snow chances than Atlanta. 3 to 6 inches possible Saturday. Augusta, you're borderline. 1 to 4 inches possible Saturday. Now, I'm about 15 minutes in and I want to make sure you've dropped your city in the comments. Tomorrow's video is going to be much more detailed, with specific timing for neighborhoods and subdivisions. I'm reading every comment tonight to build that forecast. Let me talk about what happens after the snow ends, because this is almost as important as the snow itself. Sunday, the snow has stopped for almost everyone, but temperatures stay extremely cold. Highs Sunday only in the upper 20s to low 30s for most areas. That means any snow that fell stays on the ground. Roads that got cleared Saturday evening refreeze hard Sunday morning. Black ice becomes a major concern Sunday morning into Monday morning. Monday, we start a slow moderation. Temperatures might finally get above freezing Monday afternoon for some areas, but not everyone. Some spots in the mountains might not get above 32 until Tuesday. That means snow lingers. Melting is slow. The full recovery from this storm could take 4 to 5 days in some locations. What about power outages? This is a real concern, and here's why. The snow itself is dry and fluffy because of the cold temperatures, so it's not as heavy on tree limbs as wet snow would be. That's good. But the wind is the problem. Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, if we get those 30 to 50 mile per hour gusts some models show, trees weighted down even with light, fluffy snow start coming down. Power lines get hit. You could see scattered outages Saturday afternoon that become more widespread Saturday evening. If you lose power with temperatures in the teens, that's an emergency situation. Have a backup plan. Know where you'd go if you lost heat. Let me address some specific questions I know you're thinking. First, should schools close Friday? Probably not necessary for Friday. The snow doesn't really get going until Friday evening. but Saturday activities should absolutely be canceled. And Monday, even though the snow has stopped, roads are going to be a mess. Ice on roads, snow still covering many secondary roads. Monday closures seem very likely across wide areas. Second question, what about travel? If you have plans to drive through the Carolinas this weekend, change them. This isn't being dramatic. Saturday travel through this region ranges from very difficult to impossible depending on your exact route and timing. Airports. Charlotte's going to have problems Saturday. Cancellations and delays likely. Raleigh-Durham, same situation. If you're flying out of either airport Saturday or Sunday, check your flight status obsessively and be prepared for changes. Third question I'm seeing, is this like the 2014 ice storm? No. That was ice. This is snow. Different impacts. Ice storms bring down trees and power lines much more readily than snow. But this could be worse in terms of snow accumulation for some areas. 2014 in Columbia saw ice but not much snow. This event could bring Columbia more snow than they've seen in 20 years. Here's the technical setup for those of you who want to geek out with me for a minute. We've got upper-level energy diving southeast out of the northern Rockies Thursday and Friday. That's our shortwave. It's rotating around a larger trough that's positioned over the central United States. That shortwave digs into the southeast Friday night right as we have an Arctic high pressure sitting over the Great Lakes. The combination of that diving energy and the Arctic air mass creates lift and plenty of cold air for snow. But the interesting part is what happens Saturday. As that energy reaches the East Coast, there's moisture available from the Gulf and the Atlantic. In a typical pattern, that moisture would mean rain because it'd be too warm. But with that Arctic high in place, temperatures stay cold enough for all snow. And then if a surface low develops off the Carolina coast and begins to rapidly deepen, you get that feedback loop where the storm intensifies, pulls in more moisture, creates heavier snow, and the whole thing feeds on itself. That's the bomb cyclone scenario. Pressure drops of 24 millibars or more in 24 hours. The GFS has been showing this pretty consistently. A 970 millibar low off Cape Hatteras by Sunday morning. That would be intense. The European model has been more conservative. Maybe 985 to 990 millibars. Still a strong storm, just not quite as explosive. The difference between those two pressure readings is the difference between a major snow event and a historic snow event. Now, let me talk about forecast confidence because I want to be honest with you about what we know and what we don't. High confidence items. Snow is coming Friday night into Saturday across the southeast. No question about that anymore. Cold is coming. Extremely cold. That's locked in. Snow accumulations will be significant for a wide area, at least several inches for most places in the impact zone. Those are high confidence. Medium confidence items. Exact snow totals. We can give you ranges, but pinpoint amounts are still tough. Whether the coastal low develops and how strong it gets, models are trending toward yes, it develops, but exactly how strong is still uncertain. Exact timing of the heaviest snow Saturday. We know Saturday afternoon looks like the peak, but whether that's noon to 4 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. makes a difference. Lower confidence items. Specific snow amounts for any single location. 3 days out. That's still too uncertain to be super specific. Whether winds reach blizzard criteria. Possible but not certain. How quickly the pattern recovers next week. Models showing some disagreement there. Here's what I need you to do tonight and tomorrow. Tonight, check your emergency supplies. Flashlights, batteries, candles, matches, anything you'd need if power goes out. Make sure you can charge your phone. If you have a generator, test it. Make sure you have fuel. Tomorrow, Thursday, grocery store. Get bread, milk, eggs, whatever staples you need. Also get easy-to-prepare foods in case power goes out. Canned goods. Things that don't need refrigeration. Don't forget pet food if you have pets. Baby supplies if you have babies. Thursday, wrap your outdoor pipes. If you have faucets on exterior walls, let them drip starting Friday evening. A tiny trickle is enough to prevent freezing. Clear your gutters if you haven't recently. Move cars into garages if possible. If you can't garage them, avoid parking under trees. Charge all devices Thursday night. Friday, stay off roads Friday evening as snow begins. Just stay home. Stock your fireplace with wood if you have one. I'm at about 23 minutes and I need to remind you one final time. Comments, tell me your city. Tomorrow afternoon's video, I'm going through every comment and giving specific timing and snowfall expectations for your area. The more specific you are, the better I can help you. Let me close with the forecast for tomorrow and give you a specific tease for what I'm watching. Tomorrow's video will have updated model data from tonight's runs and tomorrow morning's runs. I'll know by then if we're trending more toward the aggressive GFS scenario or the conservative European scenario. I'm also going to show you the probabilities for different snowfall amounts by city, like what are the odds Charlotte sees more than 12 inches versus what are the odds they see 6 to 10. That probabilistic approach will help you understand the range of outcomes better. I'm also going to talk about something tomorrow that I haven't mentioned today. There's another system on the long-range models for the middle of next week. Too early to have any confidence, but it's something I'm watching. Also going to cover the temperature recovery timeline in more detail tomorrow. When does each city finally get back above freezing? When does the pattern finally break down and allow some moderation? This is a significant winter storm. For many of you in the Carolinas and Georgia, this could be the biggest snow you've seen in years. The cold alone is noteworthy, but the combination of significant snow and extreme cold creates a situation that requires preparation. Don't wait until Friday. Prepare Thursday. Thank you for watching. Drop those city names in the comments. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon around 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern with a much more detailed breakdown. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll talk to you soon.